Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another video. Today we're talking about the most sensitive souls known to man. These emotional, crybaby, whiny, anti-vegans. Anti-vegan snowflakes, or as I like to call them, meat flakes. And we're going to talk about the leader of the meat flakes. One of the most well-known meat flakes in the world, Mr. Meat Flake himself, Isaac fucking Butterfield. Some of you are probably asking yourself, David, what the fuck is a meat flake? Well, here's the 100% totally legitimate, professional, qualified, whatever you want to call it, definition. Meat flake. Informal, disapproving. A way of referring to someone who is too easily upset and offended by vegans and or someone who regularly attacks and insults vegans in an attempt to counteract the feelings of guilt generated as a result of vegans exposing their abusive lifestyle choices. I hate vegans. They're such assholes. Why can't they just be vegan and let me do what I want? No one is stopping you from doing anything. Vegans are just making you aware that your lifestyle choices are abusing animals and trying to appeal to your better nature to get you to go vegan and stop abusing those animals. Stop being such a fucking meat flake. And if there's one person in the world that fits that description to an absolute T, it's Isaac Butterfield. You see, Isaac Butterfield has been making shitty videos about vegans for years now. And what makes Isaac the biggest meat flake on this lovely planet is not only the simplistic, childlike, irrational, unreasonable arguments he makes against vegans, it's also the fact that he regularly insults vegans and attacks their appearances like some kind of schoolyard bully who didn't get enough attention from his mummy. Or like some kind of adult who has some self-esteem problems and so takes it out on everybody else. But that's a bit too deep for this video, so let's get back to the meat flake bashing. Let's take a look and react to some of Isaac's biggest meat flake moments.
Idiot, you fucking simpleton fuckhead. I cannot comprehend how your mind comes to these conclusions, you turd. If you think you come to a good conclusion in your next video, Houston, Hudson, whatever your fucking, Houston, whatever your name is, take a moment, headbutt the closest, not brick wall, we don't want to cause harm, but just headbutt a gyprock wall, alright, do that, and then consider deleting all your social media accounts because you're a fucking idiot, okay? Everything you say is ridiculous, stupid, wrong, and just plain, to put it simply, we are all dumber for listening to what you have to say, Hudson.
Idiot, fucking simpleton fuckhead, turd, headbutt a wall, fucking idiot, ridiculous, stupid, wrong, runs out of things to say. We're all dumber for listening to what you have to say, Hudson. So after all of those insults and running out of things to say and then a few more bad insults, he tells us that we're all dumber for having to listen to what Hudson has to say. Because listening to insults that sound like they could have come from a 15-year-old playing games online like Call of Duty definitely makes you smarter, right, Isaac? And check this out. Hudson is 19 years old. He spent some of his teenage years out on the streets discussing ethics and morality with strangers, which is, by the way, pretty fucking difficult. And 27-year-old Isaac Butterfield is sat in his little YouTube studio calling him things like idiot, turd, and telling him to headbutt a wall because Hudson's a vegan man and vegan man bad.
Vegan booty. You need some squats, love. You need to do some squats. If you're going to call yourself something booty, at least have that to back it up. If you're going to call yourself booty, do some fucking squats, sort that pancake dirt box out, and get fucked. In that order.
Sounds like you've got a bit of an obsession with Tash Peterson's arse there, mate. What would your wife say? Oof. Or maybe you've got an open relationship, I don't know, 2021, right? Things are changing. But I do know, Isaac, that you've got a naughty little fetish for vegan activists. It's pretty clear to see, right? I mean, you've done 5 videos on Tash Peterson alone, and 3 on that vegan teacher. What is it, man? Is Miss Katie a little bit too old for you to have a nasty little vegan fetish over? Or do you just have a fetish over both of them and that's why you're putting out so many videos about them? Ah, you love them both, don't you? You naughty boy.
The leading cause, it says at the Mayo Clinic, the leading cause of erectile dysfunction is actually this photo of you.
You know when you were really young and you thought the best way to get the attention of your crush was to like pull their hair or, you know, hit them and run away and all that kind of stuff? We've all done it. You've been a kid before. You know what it's like. Isaac's doing the online version of that by making these little digs and little pokes at activists and vegans that he secretly fantasizes over and wishes his wife was. Whoa, it's too deep maybe. I don't care. Listen, Isaac, if you're watching, I know Tash personally. So if you actually want an introduction, you know, get to know each other a little bit, who knows where it could go, I can hook that up for you. I can't guarantee that Tash is gonna want anything like that with you, but I'm sure she'd be up for, you know, a YouTube live stream where you guys can have a chat about things that are relevant, you know, have a chat about the videos you've been making, chat about veganism, and hey, look, we'll see where it goes. No guarantees, but we can totally set this up. Aside from all the jokes, Isaac does have some pretty damn strong arguments against veganism, and look, guys, we really need to address them. They're just really solid arguments.
Plants are living. All right, there are studies to show that some plants communicate with other plants, which means they have feelings.
Isaac Butterfield's got a new title now, Meat Flake and Plant Lives Matter activist. Are you ready to hit the streets to save plant lives? You'd be in good company. You'd be joining the likes of Eckhart Tolle, Sadhguru, Dr. Zakir Naik, and so many more.
So whether you eat a plant or an animal or whatever, it is still violence.
Brother, do you know that even plants have got life? Do you know that, brother? So if you say killing living creatures is a sin, killing a plant is also a sin.
Plants are living animals too, organisms. It's breathing, it's living, it's taking nutrients from the soil, just like the pigs and the animals are taking nutrients from what we feed them.
We both know that eating a carrot is not killing someone.
Plants send signals to each other using chemicals. They communicate chemically. They don't have feelings. They don't have a brain. They don't have a voice box. They can't scream. They don't have nerve endings. They don't feel any kind of sensation or pain whatsoever. They're not self-aware. They're not sentient. It's simple as that. And we have to kill something to survive. That's the way of the world. We have to kill something to eat. Why would we not kill the least sentient beings on the planet, like plants, and eat those? Why would we choose to kill the ones that are all sentient, with families and friends and feelings and emotions and pain and all those things, when we don't have to? Isaac. And anyway, if you're serious about saving plants, go fucking vegan. We're breeding and killing over 60 billion animals every single year. What do you think they're eating? They're eating plants. Do you think they're eating more than us or less than us? They're definitely eating more than us. 60 billion animals eat more plants than 8 billion vegans ever could. Ever. Ever. So Isaac, go vegan for the plants.
Cows are fucking idiots, all right? I was on a farm recently, and cows just stand there and just like, ugh. And they're delicious. What else are you gonna do with them?
I don't know about you, Isaac, but my mum told me that if someone is weaker than you, either physically or mentally, like if someone's slower than you are, like you're more witty and fast and they're not, or you're more intelligent and they're less intelligent, my mum told me that you should care for these kind of people. You should look after them, not exploit them because of their vulnerability, not take advantage of their vulnerability. What did your mum teach you? Because it seems to me that she may have taught you the complete opposite. Or did you just decide that yourself? Either way, mate, it's pretty sick. Cows and other non-human animals fit into that category. They're not as fast as us. In fact, they're much slower than we are cognitively. Physically, in many ways, they're stronger, but we're smarter, which is why we can get away with doing this shit to them. So why are you taking advantage of these animals and exploiting them when they're slow and not as intelligent as you? What the fuck did your mum teach you, mate?
That cow would not exist unless it was being farmed for its milk. Now, what would you prefer? A life where you didn't exist, or a life where you existed out in the pastures, having a great old time, and then having to get a little bit of a squeeze every now and then, a little bit of a milk?
Ah yes, the solid, irrefutable argument of, well, if we didn't breed these animals into existence, put them in a life of slavery, slit their throats, and then do it all over again, they wouldn't have existed in the first place. Remember, guys, we're doing them a favor by breeding them into a life of captivity to use their bodies and then kill them. Because that's what it means to be a big, strong, manly Australian man.
One of the big issues with vegans is they go through this weird thought process where they treat animals as humans. They're not. A lot of animals happen to be food, but I also treat animals with respect. I rescue dogs. I also saw a snail on the footpath the other day. I picked the snail up and put him in the garden. But if I relied on that snail for food, he'd be fuck off dead immediately. I've seen countless videos of even animals like cows eating small rats. Animals love to eat meat. That is just the way of the world.
You don't rely on animals for food, you silly sausage. You rely on nutrients for survival, and you can get all the nutrients you need from plant-based food. What would your rescue dogs think of you if they knew that you chose to kill other animals when you could choose not to? They'd run a fucking mile. They'd be terrified that they're next.
Killing an animal is definitely violent. It's also delicious, nutritious, yummy, fantastic, wonderful, and much like a chicken who sees a grasshopper or a small mouse on the ground. I don't look at, animal products in the refrigerator at a supermarket as my fucking friend. I look at it as food, because that's what it is. Delicious food.
I'm just like the chicken that has no understanding of morality, the brain the size of a pea, and acts purely on instinct. Not knowing whether it's right or wrong, I just do what I do because, I'm exactly like a chicken, right? It's exactly the fucking same, and that's why I walk into a supermarket and buy dead animals. Because I'm the same. You stupid fucking vegans. Logic.
I don't know if you knew this, but it's a pretty wild world out there in the animal kingdom. The other day I saw a flamingo, right? I won't show you the photo because it won't be allowed on YouTube, but this is one flamingo, and here's the other one, right? And then there's a baby flamingo, yeah? This video showed the flamingo putting its fucking beak through the head of the other flamingo in front of the baby. I saw a seagull try to eat a whole rat. A whole rat. A lion ate a buffalo that was still alive, asshole first. Asshole first. In the wild, if there are bears around where you are camping in the woods and you have your period as a female or male, hey, 2020, the bear will eat you vagina first. It attracts bears. This isn't a happy world we live in, alright? Stop pretending it is. This is the world we live in and we just have to accept that.
Nature is violent, so I can be violent too. Male lions force themselves onto female lions, and if they've had any cubs to another male, they fucking kill them. They kill the little babies. So if you at home, if you get into a relationship with somebody that already has kids, well, you have a right to kill those kids because fucking lions do it, and you can base what you do on what animals do in the wild according to Isaac Butterfield. So, if you don't like those kids, just go ahead and kill them. And the lions actually eat them, so you could also eat the kids too, right? Because fucking lions though, right? Nature is violent, guys. Fucking deal with it. Isaac, you fucking spoon. Why would you base your morality on what happens in nature with animals that have no sense of morality and what's right or wrong and act in ways that are instinctively violent? Why would you do that?
Animal Defender, watch Dominion. If you don't know what that is, it's a documentary that is made by vegans, funded by vegans, for vegans to convince other people to become vegans. It is the vegan example of religious doctrine. It brings people in, it makes them feel bad, but it gives them an answer. And this is why a lot of people are vegans, because they watch this type of shit. Now, the film itself is garbage, alright? It's just garbage. So, anyone who tells you to watch Dominion, tell them, suck a dick, fuckhead. But one of the things that Tash promotes a lot, and most vegans do this, particularly the ones who have online followings, is a film, a propaganda vegan film called Dominion. Now, it's a film of basically all the horrible shit that they're snuck in and filmed in factory farming, and it is quite confronting. It's horrible. The film itself is garbage. It's quite confronting. It's horrible. It's garbage. It's horrible. It's garbage. It's horrible.
So which is it, Isaac? Is it absolute garbage or is it horrible? Dominion is a documentary consisting of undercover footage from Australia, where they get all this undercover footage of how farming is going on in Australia. It's pretty horrible, it's pretty disgusting, and it's all happening because people out there are just like, meat is good and burgers taste good, and that's the only reason it's going on. Sounds to me like Isaac actually watched Dominion, and then after spending 5 minutes thinking about someone else other than himself, realized that it's pretty fucking horrible and we should do something about it. Don't get me wrong here, we all make mistakes. I've made videos in the past where I've looked back and I've been like, I'm not sure I completely agree with that anymore, and we change our perspective, and that's totally okay.
What do you think's more ethical? To kill that deer for food to feed our family, right? Okay, we kill it 2 years before its natural death, or we don't kill it and we allow it to die its natural death. Now, does it die in a hospital bed filled with medications to reduce the pain through that difficult process? No. No, that's not what happens in the real world. In the real world, what happens is when an animal gets old, like this deer that we're hypothetically talking about, it gets so old, it gets emaciated, it starts to lose weight, it gets hurt or it can't move anymore, and then ants start eating it asshole first. Alive, alright? And then other bugs start eating it asshole first. And then some motherfucker gets in there and starts eating it asshole first, alright? What's worse? Getting shot 2 years before you're dead and you die in 10 seconds? Or getting eaten asshole first, Karen? That's my question to you.
Isaac Butterfield, savior of the animals. You know, I don't really have a response to this. This is really solid logic. Isaac, you should take your gun and go and be a savior of the elderly. Because come on, man, there are so many people hitting their 70s, 80s, 90s, and they're only going to end up living in a life full of pain and medication and suffering, and especially in countries that are less developed as well. Can you imagine getting old in a country where you don't have a good support system, you know, from the government and comfortable living experience and all these things? Isaac, get out there with your gun. Take them out a few years before they go through all of this. You'd be doing them a massive favor, right? It's solid logic. I really can't argue with it. Get out there and hunt them down. Give them that quick, painless death that you've been talking about. Be their savior, Isaac. Be their savior. I only kill animals that were going to die in 2 years anyway. I'm doing them a favor. Has to be one of the biggest loads of bullshit I've ever heard coming from someone trying to argue against vegans. I mean, seriously, who listens to this and says, "Oh, Isaac, you're so smart"? Oh yeah, 14-year-olds who are impressed by swearing and loud noises. Basically your entire audience, right? 14-year-olds like these two absolute numpties that went out and ate KFC at a vegan protest, not once, but twice, to desperately try to get likes and comments and shares and validation from strangers on TikTok. So desperate for validation that they did it twice. Once in November of last year, and then once again in January, I believe. Or maybe this month, February, whatever. They did it this year as well. So creative, so edgy, so inspirational. These little shits are trolling like this because they're just obsessed with gaining validation and likes and comments and all this stuff, and they see it as some kind of replacement for actual real life achievements, you know, like getting a job, building something with your hands, going out into nature and going for a walk, building real friendships, building a family. This is the new world of kids. TikTok is how they get their dopamine hits, and as we all know, it doesn't fucking last. The dopamine hits get harder and harder to get, and TikTok and social media is no replacement for real life, real world achievements. And that's what Isaac told these kids, right? As a responsible YouTuber with a big following, people look up to him, you know, he's a bit older. That's exactly what he told these two Australian teenagers that did this stupid act in front of the vegans, right? That's what happened. It's really good. Thanks, Isaac, for being really mature about this. And wait, what do you mean? What, he brought them on his channel and congratulated them? Really? Ah yes, solid role model, Isaac, really teaching these kids how to get by in the world and not lead them to a life of depression, anxiety and feeling empty by encouraging them to do stupid shit like troll vegans and, you know, congratulating them for it. You truly are the world's biggest meat flake, and I kind of understand why. Some of your biggest videos are in fact about veganism. They perform really well. People like to see you bitching about us and making all these videos about us. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer to keep making these kinds of videos, right? It brings in the cash, brings in the dollar. Why wouldn't you keep the meat flakery alive as long as it's bringing in the big dollars, right? I get it. So let me do you a massive favor, man. Let me bring you some big dollars. I'll come onto your channel for a live discussion, debate, whatever you want to call it. You can market it with some clickbait thumbnail like Dirty Rotten Vegan versus Isaac Butterfield or whatever the fuck you want to do. Anything you want. Whatever you think is going to bring in the people, you're not going to offend me, we can do it. You can bring all your best arguments against veganism and I'll answer them one by one in front of your audience, and I'll face all of that hate that's going to come my way. Because it's going to be a lot. And you can make a shitload of money because people are going to watch that video because it's a vegan versus Isaac Butterfield, and that's pretty much what your followers want. So it's a win-win. Or you can keep being a massive meat flake and hide behind a few more videos about that vegan teacher, vegan booty, and your little creepy little kind of weird kind of meat flakery fetishy kind of vegan fetish kind of thing. You can keep doing that. Or you can accept this and we can have a one-to-one on your channel in front of your audience, and you can make a shitload of money and you can please your audience, and I'll be able to fucking ruin you in front of them. If you want to see this happen, get over to Isaac's Instagram, YouTube, wherever you can find him. Leave a comment saying, watch David Rams's video about you and accept the debate. I would not recommend linking the video because YouTube will probably remove it because it thinks it's spam. So just put, watch David Rams's video about you, accept the debate. Leave that comment on his Instagram and his YouTube, send him some messages, make sure he sees it if you want to see me and him get into a discussion/debate on either his channel or my channel. I'm easy, whatever works. Remember guys, stay vegan, don't be a fucking meat flake. Buy one of these t-shirts, they're up on the website now, it's davidrams.com. Join the Anti-Meat Flake Social Club, and I'll see you all in the next video.